The truth that few have the courage to admit, and even fewer to face, is that most men aren't failing because of a lack of ability, intelligence, or opportunity. They're failing because of fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of leaving their comfort zone, fear of taking full responsibility for their own lives, fear of being rejected, judged, or not being good enough. But above all, fear of building the life they truly want to live. They settle for mediocre jobs, lukewarm relationships, sedentary bodies, and predictable routines because familiar suffering feels safer than the uncertainty of real growth. In this video, we're going to break down this self-destructive pattern that's been slowly killing modern masculinity and reveal the key pillars you need to break out of it for good. You might not see it, but you're trapped. Most men today live in a comfortable prison where the chains aren't made of iron. They're made of routine, fear, and conformity. It's the well-known invisible cage. You wake up, go to work, come home, watch something, scroll through your phone, complain a little about life, and repeat it all the next day. Deep down, you feel like you could be living something greater, but you stay on autopilot. And the worst part? You're the one holding the key to the cell, but you're too afraid to use it. From a young age, you're taught to behave, not stand out, not take risks, not color outside the lines. And you believed it. You swallowed the lie that stability is more important than freedom, that safety is worth more than fulfillment, that dreaming big is for people who want too much. The result? Frustrated, repressed, unhappy men who learn to smile for the camera and pretend everything's fine. It's an entire generation settling for less, not because they can't have more, but because they're afraid to want more. The truth is, this prison is comfortable. Inside it, you don't get exposed, you don't fail in public, you don't get criticized, you don't take risks, but you also don't grow, you don't lead, you don't achieve. You don't assert yourself. You adapt. You mold yourself. You play the game of survival and stop playing the game of evolution. And then it becomes easy to blame the system, luck, the economy, your upbringing. But what's hard? Looking in the mirror and admitting, you're like this because you chose to stay like this. And while you keep justifying your paralysis, you'll stay stuck. But there's a huge difference between being at peace and being numb, between being safe and being dead inside. The problem is, time doesn't stop. And the more you delay facing the truth, the deeper you sink into that automatic mode. The uninspiring job, the passionless relationship, the low-energy body, the lost mind. At the end of the day, there's that uncomfortable feeling that something's missing. And there is courage. Courage to break out of the predictable, to break the cycle, to leave the crowd that only watches and join the few who take action. But that change starts with one decision: to stop hiding behind your excuses. To understand that the life you really want demands that you leave that comfortable cell, that you drop the role of side character and take control, that you stop waiting for the outside world to change and start changing what's happening inside you. And now comes the question that's going to hit hard. Are you really free? Or did you just learn how to behave inside the cage? You have an image in your head of the man you wish you were. That guy with firm posture, a strong body, authority in his voice and confidence in his eyes. A guy who makes money, trains consistently, makes decisions with certainty, attracts women, inspires other men, and lives with freedom. But the truth is, for now, that guy only exists in your mind. Or worse, in what you pretend to be on social media. You post motivational quotes, share mindset videos, upload pictures of books you haven't finished reading. You talk about discipline, but keep making excuses not to train. You say you're focused, but waste hours on your phone watching useless content. You're broke, yet you spend money on superficial stuff just to look good. In front of others, you act like you're in control. But when you're alone, you feel the weight of a life you've been sabotaging yourself. There's no shame in not being the man you want to be, yet. The real problem is pretending that you already are and using that mask as a crutch to avoid real change. Because pretending takes effort, yes, but it doesn't lead to growth. You get tired, drained, but stay exactly where you are. Every day you spend living in that illusion pulls you further away from who you really are, leaving you weaker inside, more lost. The more you act, the less you know yourself. And that disconnection comes at a price. Anxiety, lack of purpose, indecision, insecurity in everything you do. You live afraid of being exposed, of people realizing that behind the image there's a man who's stuck, full of doubts, and too comfortable. But the truth is already hurting you on the inside. You know you have the potential for more. You're just not backing it up. If you want to turn things around, you need to face what you've been avoiding. You need to admit that part of what you show the world is just a front. And as long as you stay attached to that fake image, you won't move forward. Growth starts with honesty. You don't need to look strong. You need to become strong. And that requires real change. Routine, habits, action, discipline, focus. Every day. No show, no audience. Just you versus you. The problem isn't dreaming big. The problem is thinking that dreaming is enough. It's not. You don't build a life of respect through desire. You build it through action. And that means letting go of the illusion and starting to build the real version of the man you know you can become. It's easy to point fingers. Blame the government, the economy, your parents, your past, your ex, your boss. Humans love pushing responsibility outward, as if life were just a reflection of external circumstances. But there comes a moment when you need to stop and accept one fact. The main reason you're not where you want to be is you. The enemy holding you back, pulling you down, sabotaging your goals, keeping you stuck. It's not out there. It's inside you. It's your comfort zone. It's your procrastination. It's your habit of putting off what you know needs to be done. It's the way you bargain with your own limits, always finding a way to avoid the pain of effort. You say you'll change, but when the moment comes, you make excuses, switch plans, blame something external, and go right back to your old patterns. Have you noticed how there's always some emergency that keeps you from training? How you get sleepy right when you are about to study? How a can't-miss opportunity to spend money pops up every time you try to save? That's not coincidence. That's your brain sabotaging you. And if you don't learn how to control your impulses, you'll keep repeating the same cycles and growing more frustrated every year. The truth is, most men don't need more motivation. They need to stop acting like spoiled kids who want rewards without putting in the work. Adult life requires hard decisions, and growth hurts. It hurts to wake up early, to train when you're tired, to deny yourself instant pleasure, to say no to what everyone else accepts. But that pain is the price of evolution. Running from it is what keeps you weak. You can have the best books, the most inspiring videos, follow all the right people, make 1,000 plans. None of it will matter if you don't have discipline. And discipline isn't something you're born with. It's built through small, consistent actions, through the simple habit of doing what's needed, even when you don't feel like it. You grow stronger in discomfort. And as long as you keep choosing the easier path, you'll keep being weak. The craziest part is, you know this. You know what needs to change. You know you need to improve your health, your mindset, your finances, your habits. But there's a massive gap between knowing and doing. That's where most people fall. Stuck in the plan, the intention, the starting Monday. But all that stalling only feeds your weaker side. Every wrong choice trains your brain to keep sabotaging you. So here's the straight-up question. How long are you going to keep losing to yourself? Because your life will only change the day you stop running from responsibility and start facing the real enemy head-on. And that enemy stares back at you in the mirror every single day. And if you really want to beat him, you'll need to take back something that's been twisted and suppressed for years. Your masculine strength. Have you noticed how, in recent years, everything related to masculinity has started being treated like a problem? People talk as if simply being a man is something dangerous, as if every form of strength, leadership, ambition, or firmness in men needs to be deconstructed. But the truth is simple and direct. Masculinity isn't toxic, it's essential. What we're seeing is a deliberate effort to weaken the modern man, to make him passive, insecure, and dependent. And the results are everywhere. Emotionally lost men, physically weak, mentally unstable, and with no direction in life. But being a real man has nothing to do with yelling louder, acting aggressively, or trying to control everything by force. That's just unresolved insecurity disguised as dominance. True masculinity is control. It's steadiness. It's knowing what you want, keeping your word. making hard decisions, protecting what matters, and never running from responsibility. A masculine man doesn't need to be perfect. He needs to be reliable. He doesn't act on impulse, he acts on principle. The problem is, they've tried to convince you that being direct is toxic, that leading is oppressive, that setting boundaries is wrong, that wanting to win means you're egotistical. But the moment you start believing that, you lose your edge, you get soft. You start justifying yourself too much, constantly seeking approval, walking on eggshells so you don't offend anyone, always measuring your words to be accepted. But healthy masculinity doesn't seek acceptance, it earns respect. And here's the worst part. When a man loses that internal strength, he becomes easy prey for manipulative women, toxic bosses, addictions, ideologies that strip him of autonomy. The absence of real masculinity turns a man into a weak, reactive, unambitious version of himself. A man who accepts crumbs and settles for less, who complains but never stands up for himself, who waits for the world to change instead of changing himself. If you want your strength back, stop asking permission to be who you are. You need to embrace your masculine side with awareness and maturity. Train your body, sharpen your mind, control your emotions, own your leadership. You weren't born to sit on the sidelines. You were born to make things happen. Being masculine isn't the problem, it's the foundation. And society starts to collapse when men stop living their purpose. Masculinity doesn't oppress. It protects. It builds. It leads. And men who live with strength, balance, and purpose transform everything around them. Families, businesses, communities. That's why they want to silence you. That's why they want to keep you distracted, numb, and weak. Because a strong, conscious, disciplined man is dangerous, not to others, but to a system that thrives on your weakness. Now that you understand what true masculinity is, the next step is more practical. How to apply it every day to build the life you truly want. Every man has a clear vision in his mind of the life he wants to live. Financial freedom, respect, a strong body, a woman who admires him, quality time, inner peace, leadership, real achievements. Deep down, you know you deserve it.
But what almost no one talks about, and what many refuse to face, is that this life comes with a high price, and very few are truly willing to pay it. The life you want demands constant effort, firm decisions, cutting useless habits, discipline when no one is watching, responsibility in the details. You can't build an extraordinary life with mediocre actions. You can't have freedom by being a slave to instant gratification.
You won't move from point A to point B without pain, sacrifice, and giving up the comfort that keeps you stuck. The truth is simple. Either you pay the price of growth, or you pay the price of frustration. But many men expect a magical change. They want extraordinary results with ordinary effort. They say they want freedom, but remain trapped in addictions. They say they want respect, but don't respect themselves. They say they want to be strong, but avoid effort. It's easy to dream. The hard part is doing what needs to be done when the excitement fades. The hard part is keeping focus when no one is applauding. That's when real men separate themselves from boys. You'll have to say no to many things. You'll need to get out of autopilot, cut useless friendships, spend less, sleep better, train harder, study what truly matters, eliminate distractions. You'll have to work harder than you want, be more disciplined than you feel capable, and make mistakes along the way. And still, keep going. Because only those who bear the weight of building can later support the structure of victory. If you want a light life, you need to endure a heavy routine. There's no success with continuous comfort. There's no growth without pain. Anyone who promised you otherwise lied. The price is high, yes, it will hurt. You'll get tired, you'll want to quit. But when you start seeing results, you realize it's worth more than any fleeting pleasure. Because what's built through effort is what truly matters. And here's the most important point. No one will pay that price for you. No one will save you. No one will do for you what only you can do. And as long as you keep waiting for someone to hand you the life of your dreams on a silver platter, you'll keep living in the shadow of those who dared to act. If you got this far expecting comfort, sorry. This isn't soft self-help. This is a wake-up call. A slap in the face to stop postponing your greatness. Are you scared? Good. That means what you want is worth it. But fear can't be your guide. It can sit in the back seat, but you're driving. The world won't give you permission to become the man you were born to be. You have to earn it. And the time is now. Not tomorrow, not next Monday. Now.